Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. It's Friday, June 23rd. In the news today, Yevgeny Prigozhin, I'm butchering his last name, I'm really sorry. He's the leader of the Wagner Group. Wagner Group is a group of mercenary fighters that are working with Russia in their war in Ukraine, and generally considered to be the most successful of the assaults have been conducted by the Wagner Group in Ukraine. They were the ones that ended up taking Bakhmut and have done, again, most of the effective fighting has been done by this group. Well, apparently today, the head of the Wagner Group is claiming that Russia did a missile attack on a training facility of theirs, killing dozens of Wagner mercenaries there. Further, he revealed on his Telegram channel, or his Telegram video account, basically saying that the war in Ukraine was never about the denazification of Ukraine or anything along those lines. It was about putting a puppet dictator in there so that Putin and his oligarchs could loot Ukraine, just like they're doing in the Donbass region. So he said, basically you're sending your sons to die so that the oligarchs can be greedy and get more money. And he's had a ongoing feud with the Russian defense ministers, accusing them of not supporting the group, of not providing ammunition or artillery support, at one point opening fire on them. And basically, he's now declared war on the Russian defense ministers. And he's pulled his Wagner troops back from Ukraine, back into Russia, with, I guess, the intent of going to Moscow and offing the defense minister, which you can imagine has set off alarm bells in Russia. And they've activated the FSB, which is, I think it's like their secret police or their intelligence agencies, as well as police officers and special guards, and they're deployed in major cities and areas like that. Basically, for lack of a better description, it's martial law as they figure out what they're going to do with the head of the Wagner Group. They've asked for his soldiers to arrest him and turn him in. They've asked for the Wagner soldiers to pledge their fealty to Putin. Things just got crazy in Russia with the Ukraine war. And I am, again, the Wagner Group has been the most effective fighting force there, which means if they're not on the front lines fighting, that means the Russians are now up against the Ukrainian army without their most effective troops. The summer offensive, or what's now the summer offensive, is going to be really effective. So, long intro. I want to throw on the current situation with the head of the Wagner Group. There's some speculation that maybe he didn't say all these things, he's being set up, but there's videos of him criticizing stuff. So we'll see. I'm curious. Bring it on down. What, Spirit, if you can share with us, what is happening with the Wagner Group? And in case I hadn't said it, which I hadn't, for entertainment purposes only. Wouldn't want the Russian troll farms going after me. Something was popping up there. Oh, it's the Six Cups, the nostalgia card. Wanting things to be the way they were. Well, somebody's opened their mouth. Things are never going to be the same. What's going on with that? Ace of Wands. Okay, somebody's got the initiative. They're tired of it, and they're taking matters into their own hands. Guess that's going to be the Wagner Group. What's that going to be crossed with? The Four of Swords. Which could be his... by doing this, he's either going to die, be put in prison, or have to go into hiding, or be successful. You got four choices here. One of them is success. Three of them are not good. So this is his gambit. This is what not saying what he wanted, but this is what he's chosen to do. In the past, another four card, Four of Cups. This is the Wagner Group not getting the support that they need in order to accomplish the objectives that they want to accomplish. This is not a kind, loving group. This is a brutal group. So no love, I'm not going to mourn the loss of the soldiers. These soldiers are absolutely brutal. But at the same time, they were hoping they wanted support from Russia and they weren't getting it. So they're being scapegoated. So this is that dissatisfaction with what they've been dealt with. Current situation. Empress. I think that's interesting because there's a couple things going on. You've got the defense ministers kind of from Wagner's point of view, they're being lazy and spoiled and entitled to all the move this back so you can see it better, to all the spoils of war, to all the ammunition, all the strategic stuff. His guys are fighting with barely any ammunition. The other thing, though, and this is probably more where this is going, is that the head of the Wagner group is appealing to the Russian people, saying that the oligarchs were responsible for this war. They sent tens of thousands of Russian youth to die in this war. They were lied to. The Russian people were lied to about the reason for this war. And he's appealing to the Russian people to basically support him, rise up and support him. It's rebellion. And that's what he's been charged with in Russia, is that he's leading a rebellion. But he's appealing to people to say, remember when things were good, it could be good again. You just need to rise up. The overarching energy is the devil. It's who people have chained themselves to. The oligarchs have chained themselves to Putin. The citizenry have changed themselves to the oligarch who've chained themselves to Putin. He's trying to get the citizenry to take off their chains and no longer support the autocrat that's in charge, but instead to support him with this new cause. So that's the goal here. He's trying to get that public support. Lesson to be learned. Well, there's a mystery going on. We don't know all the answers. Again, when we look at life, we're looking at it through a porthole. God, I guess, gets to see the big picture. We get a little porthole to look through. And so I think, both what the Wagner group is seeing and what Putin is seeing is only part of the picture. They don't see the whole picture. Certainly, Putin doesn't get all the information. People would be scared to give it to him. They might get pushed off of not pushed off. They might accidentally fall off a balcony of a very tall building, or be accidentally poisoned, or something horrible like that. But Putin might also be a little bit on the crazy side. His health has not been good, and he may not be acting as a person who's got a long time to live might act, playing a much shorter game. Outcome, fighting, but from a position of strength. I think the Wagner group is actually, I don't think the head of the Wagner group is going to be defeated anytime soon. And what we might find out is that he's gaining public support. It'll be interesting to see if there's protests or what goes on with it. This will be something that might have to foment over a couple of days, but we'll see how this goes on. Underneath it all is the Eight of Coins, the apprentice, just the grinding out and doing stuff. This whole war has been a grind, and he's been paid for his grinding work. But his troops are also, they're battle hardened. They are trained. They're battle hardened, and if they choose to fight, they could do really, really well. Now, the problem that you're going to run into is, you're going into Russia, which means that the helicopters and the fighter jets and everything else that Putin doesn't have in Ukraine is defending the rest of the country. So you have to be careful how you're advancing, because you're now a target for smart weaponry, cruise missiles and things along those lines. So I don't know if this will end up being a guerrilla war or anything along those lines, but it could very well be the Wagner Group takes over a town or a settlement or something along those lines to draw lines. But again, they're talking about going all the way to Moscow. All right, so that's the current situation. There's so much more to this. Oh my God. I heard this news this afternoon, and I was dying to do a reading on it, but work was busy and just couldn't get to it until now. But going over TikTok, every third broadcast on my TikTok feed was talking about this situation. I'm trying not to listen too much to it. I did listen to both the column because he's fabulous at summing things up very succinctly. And at the end of his video was hilarious. In case you didn't know, one of the things that happens is it's kind of a tradition, is that when a Russian leader dies or is removed from power, shall we say, they play Swan Lake on TV, the ballet, and that's until they select a new leader. It's kind of a tradition. It's kind of a thing. So, there's speculation, will Swan Lake be playing sometime soon? All right. Now we'll do a series of 4-carders here. First off, what is Putin thinking about the head of the Wagner group? Okay, what is Vlad thinking about this situation with the head of the Wagner group? It looks like he's going to go forward with an offer of some sort. What's the offer going to be? Get the hell out and while you're still alive. Join us or fight. Okay, so I think what Putin's looking at is this is a mercenary. I said no, he's going for the message, but this is a mercenary. This guy, the Wagner group, the leader is a mercenary, and he was integrated into the Russian army to help with this situation with the war in Ukraine. On the one hand, I think Putin knows that they've not been treating the Wagner group well. Mercenaries steal things or something, but I think he's not been supportive. He's said he was going to be supportive, or he just might think that this guy is just going to sneak off into the night. He's going to take the weapons and money that has to sneak off to the night, or he might stay and fight. Regardless, Putin is recognizing that the Wagner group has now changed tactics, and they're reaching out to the people. So his concern, I guess, is what's going to happen with that. Is he going to be able to? Is this guy really going to come to Russia, or is he just going to sneak out of the war, or is he actually there to fight? So I don't think Putin knows what to do yet. So Putin's just being cautious. He's not sure what he's dealing with at the moment. He probably knows what they told him, and now he has to sort of sit and think out what's really going on. Because again, one of the downsides when you live in an autocracy, as I've been told, I haven't lived in one, we came close, is that and nobody wants to tell dear leader bad news. It's kind of lethal. So they tell him what he wants to hear. Does that not sound like Donald Trump? He goes lawyer shopping until he finds somebody who tells him what his opinion is. The same thing as opinion. Then that guy's the smartest guy in the room because he agrees with Donald Trump. Okay. What does Prigozhin think of Vladimir Putin and the current government there? What's Prigozhin thinking about that? Well, he's thinking he needs to move quickly. Things are happening quickly. He's got the initiative. And I think he feels like he's got the right thing to do. Oh, Jesus, Justice. He really is going to do this thing as cool. I think he wants to install himself as the leader of that country. And he's going to reach out to the people. Wow. And there's that working hard again. Yeah. He is going to move. He's going to try and strike. He's going to try and strike really quickly because he thinks that this, not so much the war isn't unjust, but he's been unjustly treated. So now he's taking the initiative and he's going to take it to the Russian troops while reaching out to the Russian people to gain their support. Now, I don't blame him for thinking he can take the Russian troops, simply because he's been fighting alongside them for months. Over a year, he's been fighting alongside them. And he knows that they're a bunch of conscripts. They're not interested in fighting. Their heart's not in it. They don't want to die in the meat grinder. Their morale is shit. So he's taking advantage of it. He actually sees what's on the battlefield, and I don't think the Russian troops, maybe they'll be eager to fight him, maybe they won't be. They don't want to fight the Ukrainians. They may not want to fight the Wagner group either. Okay. So, lastly, what do the Russian generals have in store? What are they thinking about this situation? The defense minister and the ones that the Wagner group are coming after. Prigozhin. Okay. What do they think about him? Or what are their concerns? Uh-oh. They're not going to make him a deal. They can't be making him a deal. Maybe they could. But I think they would want to get rid of him. So let's see what that is. Okay, planning. Uh-oh, somebody's going away. Definitely. Oh, there's that justice card again. Okay. It could be... the vibe I'm getting from this is that Putin's actually going to reach out to the head of the Wagner group. If he figures out what's going on, and get him to leave. Basically, hey, we'll be all right. You just go. But there's definitely a plan afoot. There's a plan afoot. And it's going to go forward. You know what? I think we're back. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm going to reverse this. This happens. The problem is I ask a question and then I get the answer. And now I'm like stumbling over trying to make sense out of the answer to my question. This isn't the question I asked. Sometimes I laugh and joke how Spirit gives me, the easy mode ones. This is not the easy mode one because they change the answer. This is the Wagner group. This is his opinion of those Russian generals. He wants to go forward again with his deal with either Putin or with the Russian people to get those generals to leave. And he's got the plan and he's enacting it and he's not going to stop because he feels he has justice on his side. So this is him reaching out to the public. To leave, to withdraw their support from the current power structure there. Okay. Now, long video, but of course it's a long video because they have lots of questions. How's this going to turn out? Long term, however long term is, this might be a couple weeks out, this could be a month out. Long term, how is this going to work out for Prigozhin? Will he be successful? Will he flee? Will he be the next leader of Russia or the next kingmaker of Russia? I'm kind of curious, Spirit. If you can share with us what will be the outcome of this action. Good heavens, nobody saw this coming. Maybe some people saw it coming. But it's going to be the double card just popped up. Oops. Well, something's going to happen. What's going to happen out of this? Keep the double card in mind for that one. All right, let's find out. What's going to happen out of this? Government. Had the devil pop up. We're going to put the devil as an overarching thing, but there's going to be changes in the government. Changes in the leadership, long term. Let's cross it. Endings. Happy endings, happy beginnings. I don't think people are happy under Putin. This tells me regime change. This is going to be regime change in the government. Truth has been exposed. That's him telling the Russian people what happened, what this war has really been about. There's that Four of Swords again. Yeah, this is going to be the removal of the person in power. This could be Putin going into hiding if he's not killed outright. This could be Putin going into hiding. and somebody taking a step back from power. So yeah, it's almost like Putin goes. He loses control of the situation. Putin's gone. Temperance, and a new government comes in. Integrating this new government into the Russian system after Putin has fled. And the lesson to be learned is to empower the people again. The people have been suffering under those economic sanctions, and with this new government coming in, they will probably try and put an end to the war so that these sanctions can be lifted, so that the people can get things that they need again, or at least give the presentation that he's helping out the people. Now you've got popular support. And if you've got popular support, they'll support your government. Outcomes. I think some of the oligarchs are going to... There's a new power structure. The oligarchs are going to change hands. The oligarchs are going to change allegiances to the new government. And underneath it all is there will be a new government that takes care of its people. Whether it's the next one or the one after. If there's an interim government or a final government, there's going to be a government that comes in that's actually concerned about the people in it. So this whole scenario is going to lead to the change in the Russian command. I don't think Putin's administration is going to survive this mutiny. This assuming this mutiny gets carried all the way through. I really do think the people are going to start rising up, and Prigozhin's going to get popular support. Well, we'll find out in the next couple of weeks for sure. So thank you for watching this video. Again, for entertainment purposes only. This is really reaching out there, and I do like challenging myself in my interpretation of the cards. And again, we'll see what happens. Thank you again for supporting my channel. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for spending the last 22 minutes of your life with me. You're never getting those back. Sorry. Oh, God. And again, thank you for everything you do. You really do give me a lot of encouragement and motivation to keep cranking out videos for you. So have a great evening, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.